As riot police stormed onto the pitch, the Nautico home crowd laughed and revelled in the chaos. After the torment they'd put their rivals through, they'd finally broken them. See, after being relegated from Brazil's top division, Grêmio Football Club had been on life support. They'd lost revenue, sponsors and investors, and without that money to rely on, the club had quickly fallen into debt. And so, through the following season, they fought harder than they ever had before, knowing that if they could just claw their way back into the top division, the money would come back and they'd be able to save the team. So, as Grêmio entered Nautico's home ground for the final game of the season, all they needed was either a draw or a win to be promoted. However, for Nautico, only a win would secure promotion, and as Grêmio would soon find out, Nautico were willing to do anything to get it. As Grêmio entered their changing room, they discovered that the door to the pitch had been padlocked and welded shut, preventing them from warming up or getting familiar with the pitch. As the match began in the cramped stadium, where rabid Nautico fans hurled insults and threats only a few meters from the boundary lines, Grêmio tried to hold strong. They almost lost their cool towards the end of the first half, when Nautico were awarded a penalty kick after a dubious foul. But by halftime, with the score 0-0, Grêmio was still on track for promotion. However, through the second half, that's when the Grêmio players started losing their cool. At one point, their left back stopped the ball with his hand. The referee believed it was intentional and sent him off with a red card, leaving Grêmio with 10 players. Then, another handball by Grêmio. This time it seemed clearly unintentional, but the ref wasn't willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, and he awarded another penalty to Nautico. The home crowd laughed and cheered. By now, there were only 10 minutes of play left, and this late in the game, a penalty would almost certainly decide the outcome. Grêmio knew that if this decision stood, it would likely mean certain death for the team. And so, in their frantic desperation, Grêmio stupidly started harassing the referee, demanding that he reverse the decision. The ref started predictably dishing out red cards to player after player, and the police were called in to prevent the match from falling into all-out violence. The Nautico fans revelled in the chaos, and by the time it had all finally settled down, Grêmio had received 4 red cards, and were left to play the final 10 minutes of the game with only 7 players against Nautico's 11. The penalty stood, Nautico took it, but incredibly, Grêmio's goalkeeper, Galato, saved it. The Nautico crowd gasped in disbelief. In the streets back home, Grêmio supporters erupted. The game wasn't over yet. They still had to hold Nautico off for another 10 minutes. But remarkably, from this moment on, the entire game shifted. Grêmio gave up on playing defensively, and despite being severely outnumbered, they launched a completely unexpected counterattack. 17-year-old Anderson dismantled the entire Nautico defense by himself, and he ended up scoring the first and only goal of the game. The jaded Nautico fans abandoned the stadium, Grêmio won the match, and they saved their team.